Hey everyone, I hope you had a great Halloween. I got to show off my brand new Hyperlight Drifter costume, and now I'd like to share with you how I crafted the entire thing in just a few days. To begin, I picked up the fabric for the skirt and the cape of this costume at Joann Fabrics, and I knew I wanted to have a very worn and weathered and ripped up look to all the edges of my fabric, and I found out a cool way to do this where you simply take a hammer and place your fabric on a hard surface like concrete and just aggressively hit the edges of your fabric to destroy the fibers and create those natural organic looking tears and holes. And I did that for all 3 pieces of fabric. After that, I took some red acrylic paints that I watered down, dipped my brush into, and splattered all these random blood stains onto the skirts and part of the magenta cape. And then I took some black acrylic paint and freehand painted this symbol onto the skirt like it appears in the game. One of my favorite details about this costume is the glowing gemstone necklace that I created using some old Xbox video game case plastic that I cut up into the shape and used a lighter just like this to melt the edges and kind of weld them together. And to make it glow, I just used what these are called balloon lights that you put inside balloons that they twist on and off like that. And I created a small holder inside to light it up. And to create that very soft diffused look, I just crammed a bunch of cotton on the inside so that you can't really see the light itself, just very soft and magical and diffused. The next prop I made is this gun that I created using 2 main pieces I found at the thrift store. The first is just this plastic handle that I used wire to attach to what is actually a travel clothing iron that just had the perfect futuristic sci-fi shape and form to it. All I had to really do was rip out some of the wiring and cords that were attached and then add another one of those balloon lights and some red gel / paint to make the tip glow, and that's all I did. Next up is my headpiece, which I created using a few pieces of EVA foam that I cut up using this X-Acto knife and hot glued the ears onto and heat formed it to create the shape and used a Dremel to create these indentations. And from there I sealed it using Plasti-Dip, which is very, very toxic, so do not use this stuff inside. Go outside and use it. And once it was dry, I was able to use some silver acrylic paint to cover it all and use some dry brushing to create some subtle highlights in there. I also created these armor pieces out of some plastic I found at the thrift store, used a Dremel to cut it up, shape it, add these scar marks, and after painting it, I used some elastic and Velcro so that I can easily attach it to my arms. Last but not least is the sword that I crafted using a variety of materials. To begin, the blade is made out of several layers of old plastic from picture frames that I hand cut into this shape, stacked on top of each other, sanded a few of them to create that frosted diffused look. The handle is made out of a few different sizes of PVC piping that I fit a battery inside to power the LED lights that are hidden inside the blade, and I used another piece of picture frame plastic to create this blunt edge here and covered it in gaff tape to create that clean look. So that's how I created my Hyperlight Drifter character. It's one of my favorite video games. I highly recommend it, especially if you're into action adventure sci-fi games with this pixel art style that you see behind me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.